Oh, what a sweet little video. Hello everyone, so good to see you again. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to everyone who's new here. Today I'm taking a look at the Foo Fighters new video called Window. I had a little sneak preview and it kind of looked really interesting and I'm looking forward to checking it out. What we do here on the channel is I react to music videos from the perspective of a filmmaker because I'm a filmmaker. I mostly work in the horror and sci-fi genres and I am based in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. And I kind of walk you through what goes into making a music video, kind of from the cinematography angle, as well as lighting, some of the writing, direction, etc. Now let's not take too long for the preamble today. I am going to take you straight into it.
In the wind, rainy on the weekend. Thunder in the clouds, thunder in the clouds. Lately I don't hear a sound. Lately I don't hear a sound. I should sleep, feel my eyes weaken. Heavy coming down, heavy coming down. I'm a puddle on the ground. Just a puddle on the ground. And I saw your face there in the window. You were a window cleaner, letting in the sun. I saw your face there in the window. You were a window cleaner, letting in the sun. Pleased to finally meet you, swinging from the ceiling. Watch you hang around, watch you hang around. Until someone lets you down. Until someone lets you down. And I saw your face there in the window. You were a window cleaner, letting in the sun. I saw your face there in the window. You were a window cleaner, letting in the sun. Letting in the sun. Man, that looks like fun.
Oh, what a sweet little video. Very kind of brief. What was that? Well, 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Surprisingly sweet, actually. Like, as in, kind and Nice. I really enjoyed that quite a bit, and I could definitely see some of the things that went into making this, which was really fun to watch. Also, I actually live in a high-rise myself, and we have window washers like this as well, and they occasionally come by as well. It's like once a month or something, or once every 2 months, I would say. It's always a little weird when you got people, just looking into your house like that, even though normally you don't have anyone looking into your house at all because you're quite a ways up. I've always wondered what it must be like to see into people's houses. Now, they do it during the day, so there's not always someone there, obviously, in all of the houses, but I'm sure they see like the weirdest stuff. I've always been curious. It also had like a very strong like rear window vibe. They could have maybe played into that a little bit more, but there were definitely some fun little bits and pieces here that reminded me of some other movies as well, which I'll point out. So we open on this shot here, really nice. So there's no one else parked here on this parking lot, which gives it a really clean look, and I love the sort of geometry of the lines here. Just like this shot, which is the second shot, really beautiful, just to kind of show how high it is. And it's always freaked me out because when I see those guys come down, usually it's two of them actually, not just one. Their little, I don't know what you call it, but like their cubby, I guess, is always like moving a little, like swaying in the wind, and especially when it's particularly windy. I suppose there must be some, level of wind that they don't go out anymore, but from what I've seen, is like it is definitely unstable. It always like you shouldn't have a fear of heights if this is your job. So the guy goes up in the elevator. He is listening to the same song, or that's implied, which is really nice. He seems like a friendly dude. He's just kind of nodding his head here. And then we see him outside of the window. Not sure where this was filmed. It looks very Los Angeles, but it could be a different American city, I suppose. But that's what it looked like to me. It looks more like an office building, to be honest, than a residential building. And as do the interiors, they do look a bit more office-y, and they were dressed, obviously, for this occasion. So we have a couple of rooms that we see into. Start with this kitchen setup, and that's basically our introduction to what's happening here. And so he's using his little spray bottle, which again is like not something that I've ever seen with our window washers. Like they usually have like a bucket of water, and they are so much faster. Like I don't know if they even really have the time to look into these apartments, because it's basically like they have these double-sided things, and then one side is wet and they go like swoosh, 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 and then they flip it around and it's like swoosh, 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 and then they move on. It's so fast, right? So he takes a fair bit longer for the dramatic effect and the rear window effect, if you will. So it's kind of funny because now you can see here that the parking lot is almost full, whereas when he drove up, it was empty. But I like that we have a little bit of the reflection here. Also interesting is that in the window, we don't actually see the camera, even though we would have some of those reflections. So they must have positioned it in a way that the camera is in the reflection, that it's hidden like just below, so it's sitting right at the height or the level of the white parts. Really love the geometric lines of it all. It's really pretty. So we have the fighting couple. Again, this looks more like an office building that they dressed to look like apartments. And I like that he was kind of watching them, but not really. And in some, he just sort of moved on, like in this one. And he had some interaction with some of the characters. I like this segment quite a bit, with her performing for the camera. I love the colors here. They actually made a bit more effort here in like also painting the walls. And the pink color, again, look at the carpet too. It looks very office-y. But this definitely felt a little bit more lived in than some of the other apartments, with all of her stuff and the clothes and everything. And I can imagine that this would be some of the stuff that you're seeing as a window washer. He was like, ooh, let me just move on from this bit. Oh, and so this was my favorite segment because it's very literally a reference to American Psycho, the Christian Bale movie, with him being like a banker, except like our modern version of it, just watching the trade stuff and, just being really vain and obsessed with himself, and the mirror shot, and like even his hair is styled a little bit the same. And here, actually, that sort of office looks, it works really well because that's exactly the way that American Psycho was styled as well, just very clinical. And I thought that worked really well here. And then we actually have the viewing here before the funeral with people grieving. I love that each room kind of has its own color scheme. Like here, we're more yellowy. The other room was more pink, you know, and the kitchen had its own set of colors. Like it's a nice kind of set dressing technique to make each space feel distinct, even though each room is kind of bland on its own. And there's like small details that are really nice in the costuming as well. For example, this lady's glasses are yellow, so she's really fitting into the set as well. And you can see that they really thought about the furniture, where, you know, the caskets are really beautiful, like dark brown wood, as is the bookcase here, and this dresser. It all really goes together very nicely. Then we have the office rave. Here we're in a much larger room, which really feels more office-like. And people are just randomly sort of dancing here. Kind of random, but fun. And he's like kind of dancing with them, and I thought that was cute. So this one to me felt a little random. Like you have these girls who are doing like, I think a TikTok dance, and then you have this office guy who's sleeping on the sofa, and then the kid is practicing his violin. This one to me was a little, like, it felt a little bit random, and then he is like pulling faces at the kid, and yeah, here it just felt a little bit random, but it was still cute. And here we had that more like we're peeking into the scene effect, where the camera is positioned at a little distance. Definitely noticing that in all of the settings, like the curtains are looking a little, I don't know, shoddily hung. You know, it looks a little shabby. I don't know if that was a production assistant hanging those, or if they just didn't really want to pay too much attention to the curtains. But that definitely, to me, kind of gives away that this was like the same room being dressed over and over, and they're trying to distinguish the rooms by hanging different curtains every time. But they just, like, the folds are still there. It just doesn't look like the curtains don't look very lived in. And just very sort of thin, and they're all the same curtains, but in a different color, if that makes sense. I like that this was a dinner. I mean, it all feels like they're very different times of day, but then again, at the end of it, it's like he starts in the morning, and then he ends up back on the rooftop when it's dark outside. So I guess that makes sense, and time is actually passing. But you know, this is another little living room that does feel nice, and I thought that it was kind of sweet and intimate. And the little kiss here was just really sweet. Yeah, that's what I meant with, like, it's a sweet video. It isn't like creepy peeking. It could have easily gone that way if they would have leaned more into like Rear Window creepy observer stuff. And they clearly didn't want to do that and have him be like a peeping Tom kind of character. Here we have this lady who is watching TV. Now here you can kind of see that they again like tried to dress another room a little differently, because they had like temporary wallpaper up here, which is, you know, it's not actually attached to the walls. But that's the way that, you know, that filmmakers are able to really transform one apartment or multiple rooms into like different looking spaces, and really make good use of what you have, which might only be one apartment. And then just, you know, as soon as you finish shooting in one segment, you have the set dressers like turn around the other room, because this seems like the smaller space that we've seen before, and then sort of go back and forth between the rooms. I mean, that's possible. I don't know if that's how they did it, but that's how I would do it for efficiency's sake. It's possible. And I like this because we hadn't seen an elderly person so far. And I don't know what she was watching, but it looked like something that I should recognize. Maybe someone knows in the comments like what it is that she's watching on TV. And then we kind of cut back and forth to all of the different rooms that he saw at the end. And then we see this guy who's like rocking out, playing guitar, I think. Really sweet. And then they see each other and they're like, hey, I see you. And that ends up being the guy that he meets up top. Then this wasn't the only room that had a bike in it. I thought that was a little random. They went for the yellow and now with the red, which is really nice color scheme. I really like that. And then he climbs back up on the rooftop. He's back. Here's where I was like, oh, this doesn't look like Los Angeles, but maybe it is. I don't know. Someone tell me in the comments where this was filmed. And then he meets the guitar playing guy for pizza up top, and they drink a beer. And that's it. Really, really sweet video. I really like this quite a bit. It's just, yeah, as I said, really sweet and just kind of gentle and sort of non-judgmental, I suppose. Well done, Foo Fighters. Love this one. Great little video. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments and would love to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, though, if you want to follow along for more, you can subscribe to the channel. Please give the video a like so that we can reach more people. Yeah, check out my channel for some of my other videos. I have like almost 200 videos at this point that I've covered, from ranging from metal to pop to, you know, all sorts of stuff. So check it out. And I hope to see you for the next one. Have a great day. Peace.
Dancing in the wind, rainy on the weekend. Thunder in the clouds.